time and again, history has shown us that there is nothing more powerful than ordinary citizens coming together for a just cause. And that is particularly true of folks in the AME Church. And I'm not just talking about the big speeches and protests that we all remember. I'm talking about everything that happens between the marches. You know, when the speeches are over and the cameras were off, I'm talking about the thousands of hours that folks like Roy Wilkins and Daisy Bates spent strategizing in cramped offices late at night. I'm talking about the folks in Montgomery who organized carpools and gave thousands of rides to perfect strangers. I'm talking about the volunteers who set up drinking fountains and first aid stations on the Washington Mall and made 80,000 bags of lunches to folks who marched on that August day. I'm talking about the tireless, the thankless, relentless work of making change. You know, the phone calling, letter writing, door knocking, meeting planning kind of work. That is the real work of democracy. What happens during those quiet moments between the marches? It's kind of like church. Our faith journey isn't just about showing up on Sunday for a good sermon and a good music and a good meal. It's about what we do Monday through Saturday as well. It's especially in those quiet moments when the spotlight's not on us and we're making those daily choices about how to live our lives. We see that in the life of Jesus Christ. You know, Jesus didn't limit his ministry to the four walls of the church. We know that. He was out there fighting injustice and speaking truth to power every single day. He was out there spreading a message of grace and redemption to the least, the last, and the lost. And our charge is to find him everywhere, every day, by how we live our lives. That is how we practice our faith. You see, living out our eternal salvation is not a once-a-week kind of deal. And in a more literal sense, neither is citizenship. Democracy is also an everyday activity. And being an engaged citizen should once again be a daily part of our lives. That is how we carry on that precious legacy we've inherited. By recommitting ourselves to that day-to-day, vitally important work that has always paved the way for change in this country. What does that mean? And I want you to think about how children who see that photo today think nothing of it, because that is all they've ever known, because they have grown up taking for granted that an African American can be president of the United States. And I want you to think of the stories in the Bible about folks like Abel and Noah, folks like Abraham and Sarah, and the verse in Hebrews that says, all these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance. Through so many heartbreaks and trials, those who came before us kept the faith. They could only see that promised land from a distance, but they never let it out of their sight. And today, if we're once again willing to work for it, if we're once again willing to sacrifice for it, then I know we can carry that legacy forward. I know we can meet our obligations to continue that struggle. I know we can continue the work of those heroes whose shoulders we all stand on. And I know we can finish the journey they started and finally fulfill the promise of our democracy for all our children. Thank you, and God bless.